Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm going to say sorry that it's been a little while since I last posted. In fact, I last posted when I was trying to join the daily races and found out that they were having an update. But since then, I've been getting to grips with the daily races a little bit, and I have also been a little bit ill. So I thought I would come back and just address some of the changes in the 0.5 update that we've had and just talk through them. So I think some of the biggest things that we got in this latest update was 7 new cars and 2 new tracks. I think some of the outstanding cars that are probably most interesting to most people, we got the G87 M2 Comp road car, which is clearly like gearing up for the open world release, because I think we're going to get lots of people wanting to drive around in BMWs just like at the ring in real life. And then the other thing we got that was super interesting, and I've been driving this quite a bit and it's a really good fun car, is the Porsche GT3 RS. So that's absolutely brilliant implementation. I've done several laps of the Nürburgring in it, and it's just amazing. And there's currently a daily race live as well until Sunday. So if you want to have a go and use the GT3 RS in daily race around Fuji, you can jump and give that a go. And I think the last of the most interesting cars for me is the AE86. So great for people that like drifting. I mean, when I've been doing the Turissenfahrten servers, I have seen lots of people just drifting around in a AE86 while I'm racing around in a GT3 RS. It's a little bit different. And then the next thing we got were 2 new tracks. We got Paul Ricard, which is the French circuit. Anyone who's familiar with Formula 1 would have remember the cars going around there and maybe know it. And the second one is Watkins Glen, which I think is like a quite popular track on iRacing. And I personally haven't ever driven that circuit in iRacing, but I've done a couple of the daily races in the M2 Comp racing car, and it's brilliant. It's really good fun. It properly it allows for close racing around the circuit. It's just perfect. Unfortunately, with this update, as you know, career mode's gone. So I think that's a bit of a shame for some people. I know that people aren't necessarily happy with the direction that it's going in. I personally don't mind it because I don't think I would have used the career mode much, but I think I talked in the last video and said how people that play Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo 7 and maybe want a different game title that's a bit more realistic in its physics engine, but still want that sort of career mode progression, you know, starting off with a Fiat 500, a Bath or something, and then slowly like building up to maybe an M2, the G87 that's just released, and working their way up to a GT3 car, let's say. I think that's missing a big portion of the player base. Personally, for me, it's all about the daily races anyway, and trying to compete with what iRacing is doing or LMU is doing. So what I'd personally like to see is a lot more GT3 and GT4 cars to be added. I really enjoy racing those, and let's get them in the daily races so that we can all race together, I guess. And I know that a lot of people are also anticipating the open world release. We've got lots of people that are still playing on the old Assetto Corsa, and they're playing on modded maps like Suzuko, the Japanese motorway circuit anyway. People love racing that and doing the no hesi servers, so I think that'll encourage a lot of people. They've done a lot of crash fixes and UI fixes with the latest update, and a bit of performance updates too. I think that's one thing I've really noticed, is that the hitching and FPS drops seem to have disappeared for me, and I've definitely had like a 20% performance increase, so it's running a lot smoother and a lot nicer now. I can hit 100 FPS at 1440p on a 4070 NVIDIA graphics card, so that works quite nicely. So I've personally been getting to grips with the new daily races and the slight changes that they've done there. So they've changed the way that you now join, and I actually think they changed it for the worse, as in it's harder to join a race now, but I know why they've done it. They've done it so that people can have customized cars essentially and customized liveries. So it's definitely a benefit in some ways and a negative in others. But so far, I'm putting up with it and carrying on. One of the other things that they changed in the daily races is the off-track system, and they've definitely changed it for the better. Before, you could go off-track, gain no time, and you would still get a 5-second or a 10-second penalty just regardless. So you would, understeer off, pass the white line, lose 5 seconds, and then get a 5-second penalty on top of that. The new off-track system is clearly doing some calculation in the background. I think a little bit like what iRacing does. So it's doing a calculation to see if you gained any time on that lap from running wide. If you didn't gain time, no penalty. If you did gain time, you do get a penalty. Unfortunately, unlike iRacing, which tells you how much time you need to give back and by when to avoid the penalty, in AC Evo, it's not doing that yet. You're getting like a traffic light sort of system that goes yellow, amber, red, and that's like how much at risk you are of getting a penalty. From my experience, if you just drop half a second after you run wide, you get away with it and you don't get a penalty. But I have had a couple of instances where I've span out when learning a track in a car and ran off the circuit, and I'm sat there for 5 seconds waiting for people to go past, and then when it's safe to do so, rejoin the circuit, and I just get a drive-through penalty. And it's not just me, I've seen other people have this issue as well, so that's a little bit annoying, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, that's for sure. So I was also going to give you a little tour now of the daily races itself and then show you how to join them, because I think it isn't necessarily intuitive for everybody, so I can give a little tutorial on how to do that. And yeah, I just thought I'd fill in the last video and give a little update on the daily races themselves. So as I said, if you come over to aceevo.gg and daily races, which is here because there's not very much particularly to see on the homepage, go to daily races, you can see all the races that we've got available. So normally they've been running 7 daily races. There's an 8th at the minute because it's a special event on Sunday the 1st of March, I believe, that they're running that. They're running it 5 or 6 times throughout the day. You can sign up for them. I'll probably end up finding a race and joining into one of them and jumping in. So once you're in daily races, you can see here all the races that you want to pick from. I've really been enjoying this M2 Cup this week, so if we were to click on that for an example, we can see the information about 2 minutes practice, 4 minutes qualifying, 6 minutes 6-lap race. We can see it here. We can look at the previous history, find out how many people have been joining it. This is a good indicator of how busy the race will be. If you hit the register button, agree, and click register now, I'll just click that so we can do a little example afterwards. Here we are. We are now entered into that race. We can see the entrance. You get a little bit of detail of at the bottom to tell you how to join, which I'll run through at the end of this video as well, and some details of what's happening in the circuit and the car, for example, the server name. So let me just withdraw from this race. And then, like we said last time, if you look in the top right, you can have a look at your profile and your results. So at the minute, there's not too much you can do with your profile. It's just changing names and basically that's sort of it. You can go back to your results, have a look at your results. I think the best place still, if you want to see your progress, so you can see these are some of the M2 races I've been doing, and a flat 6 race as well. But if you want to really have a look at some detail of your profile, the best place to go over is to SimGrid. This is the current leaderboards for AC Evo. So you can see I've got a 3,101 driver score and I'm currently 244th. And in the top right, we can go over to my profile, and that's where you can have a look at this little bit of history. So, quick tutorial on how to join a daily race. So I'll timestamp this at the bottom of the video for people if you just want to skip to it. Go to daily races, pick the race you want to join. I'm going to say it's going to be the GR Academy. These are normally quite busy. See 12 people in today. We're going to hit register, hit agree, and hit register now. Oh, we got to select a car. We'll pick that one. You can see now we're entered into that race, and there's a countdown to the race in the top right corner. When that countdown hits 0, that means it's time to join the server, and this copy details button becomes available. You'll left click on the copy details button, which copies the server details and the password. You will head over to Assetto Corsa, open up the game, hit the drive button, go to multiplayer, click on the server list, and in the top right there's this little clipboard system. Click on the clipboard and it's supposed to paste in there, and I've had this issue a few times with the game where it does this. It says invalid server information string in the clipboard. Oh, because I've not copied it, that's why. But if you do get that error message, you can go back to the web page and copy the details again, and you can paste them again. If it still doesn't work, I've had that issue a few times, quit the game, relaunch the game, and then come back to this page and copy and paste the details again. Once you pasted the details, hit join, and it will now load you up into the server. And the beauty of that is you can now have your own custom cars, and you can bring your own custom cars into the races, unlike you could do before. So if we take this Red Bull ring for an example, you basically get a selection. Before you join that server, you click the car that you want rather than one of the default ones, so this blue and pink one's mine, hit the join button, and off you go. And that's everything that I wanted to run over with you guys in this video, so I'll be posting some more daily races or maybe some of the server races soon. Keep your eyes out. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one.